Oh my god, everyone! It's the greatest game ever fucking made! It's Dissidia Final Fantasy. Did I say Dissidia? Yeah, that's what I meant. And no, it's Dissidia Final Fantasy for the PlayStation Portable. And I ain't gotta tell you nothing about this game because it's the greatest game of all time. The best game ever made. Cloud, Sephiroth, penises. It's fucking awesome. I don't even want to fucking review this game. I gotta be honest. I really don't want to fucking review this. This game is just, it's been overrated since it first got fucking announced by Square-Enix. It's the most overrated piece of shit since Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X. I'm just gonna sit here and light a cigarette. You guys can just listen to me smoke. Alright, so I guess I'll talk some shit about the game. I'm not gonna go into specifics on, you know, when the game was released and all that crap. It's in Japan, it's in North America, it'll be in Europe soon. That's all you really need to know. Look it up online for specifics. Basically, this game is nothing more than a fan service crossover fighting game with characters from all the Final Fantasy titles 1 through 10. Characters from Final Fantasy Tactics and Crystal Chronicles are not present because this one just focuses on the main series of Final Fantasy. But this game is basically to put all the fanboy debates to rest, because we all know how you fucking fanboys love to debate on who has the bigger cock between Sephiroth and Golbez, or who's more awesome at Cloud and Zidane, or who gives a shit. Seriously. This game is to put all that crap to rest. And hopefully it will. But I'm sure people will be bitching about the fact that, oh no, Kane's not in it. Or, oh no, Barrett's not in it. Oh, who cares? Seriously. Cry more, okay? Just fucking cry more. Anyway. This game is a one-on-one fighter, and it's not that fucking good. Seriously. You can pick between your main hero from whatever Final Fantasy title you want, or your main villain. So, for like instance, Final Fantasy VII will have Cloud as the hero and Sephiroth as the villain. Final Fantasy IV will have Cecil or Cecil and have Golbez as the villain, etc., etc. Even though they probably should have put Zemus in the game, but they didn't. But whatever. I sat and I played this for a while, and my jaw dropped, and I thought to myself, you know what? Fuck all you people who bashed Castlevania Judgment and said it sucked. Because this game is fucking, it's Distrega meets Castlevania Judgment with bigger arenas and bigger areas to run around and fight on, and some new options to use in battle. The battle system does not have any depth. It's just a bunch of flash and bang, a bunch of nice stylish attacks and skills, but once you've seen them all, there's really not much left. There's multiplayer, there's a story mode where you can equip different shit, but it doesn't matter because it's all for like display purposes. You don't actually get to use the shit, and you're on this board game type thing where you have to, you know, meet certain conditions through different battles, and you can, you know, get more points and experience points that way, and you can level up. But, you know, there's stuff to unlock, and you can equip certain skills and attacks to your character, and you can choose what buttons to map to them and all that. But I just did not think this was a very great game. I thought it was alright, but I didn't think it was the coolest freaking game I ever played. There's really no depth to it, and if you're a real hardcore fighting game fan and you come into this expecting some competitive nature, it's not going to happen. So look somewhere else if you want true depth in a real fighting game, because this isn't it. This is like Final Fantasy Smash Brothers, basically. And I already know that it's probably going to be the greatest selling game of all time. It's probably going to surpass Super Mario Brothers. And I know it's going to be the greatest PSP selling game of all time. It's going to make Monster Hunter look like Cheetah Men 2. All the fanboys are rabid over it already. It's all over game FAQs. It's like 50 bajillion freaking topics on it. And honestly, it's kind of depressing. I mean, for a game to see so much hype when it really doesn't even deserve it. It's an average title. And I really think that if Castlevania Judgment had had the Final Fantasy characters and the Final Fantasy name slapped on it, it would do just as well as this. Just because it's Final fucking Fantasy. And that's truly fucking pathetic. But whatever. I mean, this is really nothing original. There's nothing original about the fighting. There's really no depth to it, and the story mode is probably the best goddamn thing about the game. Because, you know, if you are a fan of Final Fantasy, it is kind of surreal and kind of nice seeing, you know, different characters from different games being in the same area and talking to each other. That is kind of cool, but the heart of this game is supposed to be its battle system, and that's where it fails to deliver the most, in my opinion. But I'm sure not everyone likes the game, but I'm going to go ahead and say that the majority of people do like the game, and that's fine. If you want to dick ride this, dick ride it. But as far as I'm concerned, it didn't live up to the hype, and it's not the best goddamn game ever made, even though everyone's going to say it is. They're supposed to be coming out with another version which has like more, you know, bonus content, which is supposed to be released in Japan, so I'm sure that'll do well also. But if you want to be technical about it, this game only really needed to have like 4 characters, and it still would have been like the best game ever made. All it really needed to have was Cloud, Sephiroth, Titus, and probably Squall, and it would have sold through the roof. Because I can imagine that the majority of rabid fanboys only use Cloud and Sephiroth anyway. So, I mean, I played around with the characters a bit. I particularly like Final Fantasy IV, so I use Golbez a lot. And you know, the games, like I said, the games, it doesn't suck, but it's not great either. It's a decent title. It's borderline mediocre, and it doesn't deliver anything to me that I've never experienced before. Like I said, I've played Dissidia and Castlevania Judgment, and this doesn't offer too much originality when you put those two games into the equation. Is this game better than the last game that had Final Fantasy characters in it, Ergheiz? No. I'm sorry, I enjoyed Ergheiz more than I enjoyed this. But, like I said, I'm sure going to get a ton of hate-filled comments for this, and frankly, I don't give a fuck, because it's you Final Fantasy fanboys who should be ashamed of yourselves for being so rabid over a video game in the first place. It's just a game, the characters aren't real, grow the fuck up. And I imagine most of you are like 30, 40 years old, which is pathetic. But yeah, this has been Dissidia Final Fantasy for the PlayStation Portable. If you haven't played it, I don't need to tell you, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, you're going to buy it anyway. So just go ahead and buy it. It's not horrible, but it's not that great either. It's just an average title. Until next time, take care, everybody.